Hello and welcome to Hornbill TV. This is Prime at 9. I'm Naomi Kikon. Now the news in detail. Amid the ongoing political turmoil in Maharashtra, sources indicate that Shinde camp has been backing off BJP. As per the sources, Eknath Shinde is likely to be given Deputy CM post. BJP is all set to back rebel Shiv Sena MLA Eknath Shinde and his camp and claim a majority in the Maharashtra Assembly. Sources said that the Saffron Party has 170 MLAs with the support of rebel Sena and independent legislatures. BJP is expected to meet Maharashtra Governor Bhagat Singh Koshari on June 28 and claim the support of rebel Sena and other independent MLAs camping in Guwahati, following which the governor is expected to order Uddhav Thackeray-led Mahavikas Aghadi government to pass the floor test. Shinde has finalized a letter to be sent to the Maharashtra governor claiming that his camp has withdrawn support to the MVA government of Shiv Sena, Nationalist Congress Party and Congress. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court issued a notice to Deputy Speaker of Maharashtra Assembly, Secretary of Maharashtra State Legislative Assembly and others on pleas by rebel Shiv Sena MLAs led by Eknath Shinde against the disqualification notice served on them. It has listed the matter for hearing next on July 11. The court also granted relief to rebel MLAs, extending the time for the petitioners to submit their responses to the disqualification notices by July 12. Shiv Sena's Eknath Shinde, the Maharashtra leader who had rebelled against the ruling MVA government in the state, threatening to bring the Sena government down on Monday, tweeted his first reaction to the Supreme Court's order on the rebel camp's plea. The Sena leader said that it's a victory of Balasaheb Thackeray's Hindutva. This is a victory of the Hindutva Emperor Balasaheb Thackeray's Hindutva and the thoughts of Dharamvir Anant Dikhe Sahib, Eknath Shinde tweeted in Marathi. Acting on Eknath Shinde's petition challenging the disqualification notices issued to him and 15 other rebel MLAs last week, the Supreme Court also extended the deadline given to the rebel MLAs to file the responses to the disqualification notices till July 12. Earlier, they were asked to submit their replies by 5:30 p.m. today. In a light moment on the sidelines of the G7 summit in Germany, PM Modi and US President Joe Biden Bonhomai was at display after the latter walked up to the Prime Minister to greet him, exchanged pleasantries and warmly shook hands. PM Modi met US President Joe Biden, French President Emmanuel Macron and Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau at the G7 summit venue and briefly interacted with each other ahead of the group photo. Modi, who is in Germany on a two-day visit from Sunday for the summit of the G7, was received by German Chancellor Olaf Scholz upon his arrival at Scholz-Elmau, the picturesque venue of the summit in southern Germany. The Prime Minister, who was standing next to Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau for the group photo, also was seen interacting with the Canadian Prime Minister. The Nagaland State Rural Livelihoods Mission and Office of the State Commissioner for Persons with Disabilities signed a Memorandum of Understanding today at Hotel the Oriental Grand in Kohima. Daytono Nakro, State Commissioner Persons with Disabilities, said that it was a great initiative for the two departments to collaborate for a venture towards inclusion of persons with disabilities. She said that disability has been going on for long and women are the ones that suffer the most, which are made known less in the society. She said that through this collaboration, it will bring forth new system of inclusion in the society.
So disability accentuates poverty because the systemic, institutional, environmental and attitudinal barriers that people with disabilities encounter in their everyday lives result in their entrenched social exclusion and their lack of participation in society. And it must also be noted that women with disabilities face significantly more difficulties. First, because of existing gender biases, and second, because of the barriers, the obvious barriers that they encounter due to their disabilities, are more likely to live in poverty than persons without disabilities. And this is basically due to the barriers that they face, in their everyday lives. Barriers such as stigma and discrimination. Then there are all those misconceptions and misunderstandings and negative attitudes about disability, such as viewing people with disabilities as people who are useless, kind of hopeless lives, and people who will not be able to be productive, citizens of the state or of the country, or productive citizens, and people who will not be able to live any kind of, so-called normal life.
Joint Secretary and Mission Director of NSRLM, Imti Menla, said that exclusion, deprivation, marginalization, discrimination are some of the features that have long plagued certain sections of the society and thus makes them vulnerable not just physically but financially and emotionally as well. She stated that it is for this reason that the Nagaland State Rural Livelihoods Mission has specifically proposed for MOU signing with organizations and agencies. She informed that the MOU will be a period of 12 months and will be limited in 4 models blocks, namely Jahama, Chumukedima, Longleng and Woka blocks.
Deprivation, marginalization, discrimination, these are some of the features that we have long plagued our society, let it be in the rural or also in the urban setup. This society is considered non-productive and therefore are eliminated even from within their own family members and also from the community. This makes them vulnerable, not just physically but also financially and emotionally as well. So under our DNRLM, there is an exclusive approach where the mission is mobilizing not only our DPL household, but also identifying the vulnerable section, namely the dependent elderly and destitute, also persons with disabilities, widows and even orphans.
In 1996, 7 years, February, now that's it. Which one more? Each other, look, bias, look, you by it, now by it. Oh, you know, Agnipath stuff, Manugan, I think a possible, Agnipath Sinahan, remember Motopure.
The Nagaland Wrestling Association today felicitated the medal winners of the 6th International Sports Festival Belt Wrestling Championship Pearl of Kyrgyzstan at the Nagaland Olympic Association building in Kohima. Wrestlers Getovile Zumu and Lumrai Hekwang won bronze medals at the International Sports Festival, which was recently held at Chonsari Oi in Kyrgyzstan. Speaking as a chief guest, Director General of Police T. John Longamer IPS congratulated the 2 sporting heroes who represented the DGB sports team as well as the Nagaland Wrestling Association for building the foundation and making the Nagas proud. He said that wrestling is a traditional sport, especially for the Tenyimias. It is a heritage of sporting past. He encouraged the youngsters to be disciplined and consistency, as it is very important in the field of sports.
I would really express my gratitude. It is your hard work, it is your support system that makes our youngsters shine in the field of sports, doing all of us Nagas proud to be in your midst, the midst of sporting heroes and the architects of those sporting heroes, the associations. we have to give credit where it is due. And in fact, my officer Zumbo has in fact taken the words out of my mouth by giving the most important credit to the associations. They are the ones who brick by brick have built the foundation so that youngsters like Zumbo and Numrai, built on the foundation by the associations with the support of the government, you have been able to shine.
President of Nagaland Wrestling Association, Dr. Hiabe Ziliang, while expressing his happiness to the two winners for bringing laurels to the state, with all the events taking place at a national and international level, he urged all to support the association in the coming days. A brief account of championship was shared by Kitovile Zumu, bronze medalist.
On behalf of the Nagaland Wrestling Association and all of us present here would like to congratulate our Sir Sri T. John Lungkumer, IPS, and his department, and also the DGP sports team, particularly the sports officer, Dibam, on producing a very promising sports personnel, and for which we are proud of you today. Recently concluded the 6th International Sports Festival Belt Wrestling Championship, World of Kyrgyzstan 2022. I, on behalf of NWA and on behalf of all the people present here to celebrate, once again congratulate you, Sri Keduvile and Lumrai, on your big achievement, which
I won the first medal in 2017 during the 5th Asian Indoor and Martial Art Games, becoming the first Naga wrestler to win international medal. Nipretio Zina, he got bronze in 2018 during the World Nomad Games. He was my student. He was a member of my gym, training under me when he got the medal. And I pray that his achievement, winning medals for India and bringing laurels to our state, does not go unrecognized. We participated in the 6th International Sports Festival in Kyrgyzstan. We stayed there for 6 days for the tournament. There 33 countries are taking part in 30 different sports, and judo and belt wrestling are made the main event of the tournament.
Manipur Chief Minister N. Biren Singh today flagged off vehicles carrying relief assistance and personnel of State Disaster Response Force Manipur for flood victims of Assam from Kangla, Western Gate, Imphal. The relief materials were sponsored by the Department of Relief and Disaster Management, Government of Manipur. The relief materials included 3 trucks carrying 135 quintals of rice, 102 bags of dal, 120 bags of salt and 120 boxes of mustard oil. Along with the relief materials, 40 personnel of SCRF would be deputed to help in search and rescue operations. Briefing the media, the CM expressed his solidarity on the worst situation of flood in Assam, which has affected around 22 lakh people of 28 districts. Mentioning that many Assam Manipuri are also facing many problems like shortage of food and drinking water due to flood, he informed that a non-government team consisting of volunteers from Mayday Lebun and Chief Minister's Martial Arts Group would also be sent to the areas of Silchar, Hojai and Lamding, which are largely inhabited by Manipuri, to provide support and relief assistance.
没有正式给我。好容易。
Yashwant Sinha, the joint opposition's presidential candidate, on Monday filed his nomination papers. Sinha handed over 4 sets of nomination papers to Rajya Sabha Secretary General P.C. Modi, who is the returning officer for the presidential election. Sinha, 84, was joined by top opposition leaders like NCB's Sharad Pawar, Congress Rahul Gandhi, Mallikarjun Kharge and Jairam Ramesh. Samajwadi Party Chief Akhilesh Yadav, DMK's A. Raja and NC leader Farooq Abdullah were also present when Sinha submitted his nomination papers. No leader from Shiv Sena was present on the occasion. The party has, however, declared that it will support Sinha.
Well, all opposition parties are unitedly supporting Yashwant Sinha ji. But the real fight is between two ideologies. One ideology of RSS, anger, hatred, and the other of compassion of all the opposition parties which are standing together.
The All India Trinamool Congress, led by Mamata Banerjee, has extended fullest support. Has extended fullest support to Yashwant Sinha ji, who is a joint opposition candidate. We are supporting all together, all the opposition parties, including Congress, TMC, DMK, Socialist Party, RJD, HCP, everybody supporting. And the left party, yes. Mr. Yechuri is here, Rajaji is here. We've all supported Yashwant. I think it's a rainbow-colored coalition of the best values of the country. Thank you.
The DMK party president and Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu, Mr. M.K. Stalin, has extended support to the common candidate fielded by all the opposition political parties, Mr. Yashwant Sinha, and we have also filed a nomination today. And it's a need of the hour that for the highest office in this country, the presidency, we need someone who would protect the sanctity of the constitution, uphold federalism and secularism, and give importance to the composite culture of this country. So we have chosen the right person as the candidate, and we are very hopeful that he would win the elections. Thank you.
Sinha, who was part of the Atal Bihari Vajpayee-led NDA cabinet, was named as a common opposition candidate for the presidential election on June 21. He had quit BJP and joined the Trinamool Congress in 2021. Sinha quit TMC after a few days before he was fielded by the opposition parties for the presidential election. Scores of opposition parties, including the Congress, TMC and the left, have come together to back Sinha, who is facing a stiff challenge from BJP-led NDA nominee Draupadi Murmu, a tribal leader who filed her nomination papers last week. The Indian Air Force has received 56,960 applications till Sunday under the new Agnipath recruitment scheme. The process of registration for recruitment under this scheme had commenced on Friday. So, in the 3 days from Friday to Sunday, close to 57,000 people have registered under Agnipath, the Indian Air Force informed in a tweet. The new recruitment scheme Agnipath was announced on June 14 by Defence Minister Rajnath Singh. Under this scheme, the youth will be recruited for 4 years and they will be called Agniveer. The age limit of these Agniveers has been kept from 17.5 to 21 years. However, for this year, the upper age limit has been kept at 23. The Agniveers will be given a salary of rupees 30,000 in the first year, rupees 33,000, rupees 36,000 and rupees 40,000 per month in the fourth year. West Bengal Chief Minister and Trinamool Congress Supremo Mamata Banerjee on Monday urged the Narendra Modi-led centre to extend the retirement age of Agniveer's recruits of the newly announced Agnipath scheme to 65 years, failing which she said they will have an uncertain future after a 4-year contract comes to an end. Banerjee said the Saffron Party has launched a new defence recruitment scheme, keeping in mind the 2024 Lok Sabha polls. Under the Agnipath scheme, people between the ages of 17.5 and 21 years will be recruited into the military service of their choice for 4 years. After this tenure, 25% of the Agniveers will be retained and the remaining 75% will be permitted to return to civilian life. The introduction of this scheme triggered nationwide protests by armed forces aspirants as well as the opposition. In the wake of widespread protests, the Ministry of Home Affairs relaxed the upper age limit for Agnipath aspirants from 21 to 23 years for the first year, that is 2022 cycle only, and also announced a 10% reservation for Agniveers in the Central Armed Police Forces and Assam Rifles. That's all we have for now. Keep watching HornbillTV.